Hi, everyone. I'm Juliette Dragas. We begin at 6:30 with your voice, your vote, and primary election night here in Michigan. Voters deciding the Democratic and Republican candidates who will be in the general election in November. We have crews at campaign parties across the state. We're live with the Republican candidates for governor, John James and Perry Johnson, as well as the Democrats running for U.S. Senate, Haley Stevens and Abdul El-Sayed. We begin, though, with Peter Elliott, who is at the Republican gubernatorial candidate John James campaign party in Sterling Heights right now. Peter?
Hey, Juliette. No Perry Johnson signs here. This is John James country. This is his congressional district, the 10th, which encompasses parts of Macomb and Oakland counties. You can see here campaign staffers have lined the street outside of his watch party with campaign signs touting his years as a combat pilot in the U.S. Army. No sign of James just yet. His supporters also won't be arriving until later tonight for his watch party starting at 8 o'clock. His run for governor is still seen as a little controversial among some Republicans who chided him for absconding what is seen as a swing district to run for governor. But he is hoping that the third time will be the charm in his bid for a statewide office. He's run for Senate before in 2018 and 2020, but he lost both of those times. Now, after 2 terms in Congress, he's hoping this time voters will finally check the box next to his name. He's widely considered the front runner in this race. Almost every poll gives him a significant lead over businessman Perry Johnson. His name recognition helps James. So does the endorsement of President Trump. Perry Johnson has tried to spend his way around that fact of the endorsement, bankrolling his campaign to the tune of around $30 million and blanketing the airwaves with ads. But James has pretty much led all challengers since this race began. The East Side native John James has focused his campaign on affordability, eliminating the income tax, and cutting what he sees as waste in Lansing. He's also touted his experience in Washington, doing things there, as well as some of his experience in the private sector, working with his family's supply chain business. We will be here live tonight at ABC of Southeast Michigan. That is a trade group representing the construction industry all night tonight, providing you updates on this watch party. For now, we're live in Sterling Heights. I'm Peter Elliott, 13 on your side.
Peter, thank you. And once again, John James is running against businessman Perry Johnson in the Republican primary for governor. That winner moves on to the general election in November. 13 on your side's Jordan Hatfield is with the Johnson campaign in Troy. Jordan?
Yes, Juliette, Perry Johnson might be trailing behind John James in the polls, but that is not fazing Perry Johnson as he is looking to become the Republican nominee for the governor of the state of Michigan. We actually spoke to Perry Johnson just about an hour and a half ago, just before 5 o'clock here near this polling precinct, and he is very confident that his platform as an outsider businessman, not a politician, is going to resonate with voters, not just Republicans, but also voters who might feel that they are independents. Take a listen.
People are going to be amazed because you look at the turnout, you see what's happened. What happens is we have so many independents behind us. It's not just the Republican base. We've galvanized everything, which is why we're the one person that can actually win this election.
Johnson's platform also is standing on a mega audit of the state of Michigan, and he's also promising by cutting the state income tax that he's going to put more money into voters' pockets. Another topic where he's drawing a lot of attention is a moratorium on data centers in the state, which is proving a very topical issue for voters in rural areas. Now, he is still, again, trailing behind Representative John James in the race, but Perry Johnson, again, feeling very confident in his results. Live in Bloomfield Township, Jordan Hatfield, 13 on your side.
Thank you, Jordan. Now to Michigan's U.S. Senate race as Democrats Abdul El-Sayed and Haley Stevens battle to take on Republican Mike Rogers in November. Steve Iwanek from our sister station in Toledo is live with Haley Stevens' campaign in Detroit, and he joins us now live. Steve?
Juliette, good evening. Well, really with the Haley Stevens campaign, as we enter the final hours of voting tonight, there really is just one question left to answer. Can Haley Stevens outperform the polls? Many of the big national polls over the last few weeks have shown that Abdul El-Sayed has a major lead, double-digit lead in certain polls over Stevens, and has a significant advantage when it comes to voters that are 50 and younger. However, the Stevens campaign is still remaining optimistic tonight that they're going to bank on arguing that they're that coalition doesn't really reflect the entirety of what the voting turnout will look like tonight. Her strategy has been centered on voters who have powered Democratic victories in Michigan for years, looking at suburban moderates, union households, and longtime Democratic voters who are going to be rather focused on wanting to vote for tradition rather than ideology. Campaign officials also tell me that they're going to be keeping a close eye on Oakland County tonight, where they feel like they could get a major victory tonight if that can go their way. But really the conversation piece that we really as voters should be keeping an eye on tonight, especially as those results start to pour in, is regardless of the victor, can they take down Mike Rogers? Michigan's been a purple state, and if the progressive candidate, Abdul El-Sayed, would take home a win, how would a progressive agenda stand up against a Republican agenda in such a polarized election as we enter the midterms going into November? So if he would win, we'll see what that result would look like, but the Stevens campaign holding on to hope as we enter the final hours here on this primary Tuesday night. For now, here in Detroit, Steve Iwanek, back over to you.
We'll check in with you later, Steve. Thanks so much. The Democratic U.S. Senate campaign between Stevens and Abdul El-Sayed is drawing national attention. 13 on your side's Nick Nelson is at the Majestic Theater in Detroit with the El-Sayed campaign. He joins us now live with an update.
Yeah, Julia, we're expecting supporters of Abdul El-Sayed to file in here to the Majestic Theater in Detroit at any moment as polls close in about an hour and a half from now. As you said, a lot of national eyes are on this race in what many view as a crucial state for Democrats in the general election to win back the United States Senate. Now, El-Sayed is the former Wayne County health director who previously ran for the Democratic nomination for governor back in 2018, ultimately losing to Gretchen Whitmer. Now, he's widely seen as a more progressive candidate backed by the likes of Senator Bernie Sanders and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Recent polling shows El-Sayed could be the favorite to win tonight. Those polls consistently showing a more than 10-point gap between him and his challenger, Haley Stevens. Some of the issues he's campaigned on include Medicare for All and getting corporate PAC money out of politics. Now, again, we're expecting a lot of supporters of Abdul El-Sayed. We're expecting to hear from him by the end of the night, whether he wins or loses, and we will bring you all of the information and numbers as we get them live. Reporting live, Nick Nelson, 13 on your side.
And be sure to stay with 13 on your side for primary election updates and results all night, because we will be here streaming live. Political reporter Josh Albertus will be with me starting at 8 o'clock when the polls close. We will also have live reports from all over the state from the reporters you just heard from right now, as well as the very latest results on 13 on your side at 11 o'clock.